you remember that corn patch I optimistically planted back about a month ago, well, I got a couple of corn stalks coming up. I've got the cantaloupes that I planted are up good. I've got a volunteer marigold and one okra plant there. My daughter actually planted some extra okra, so I don't know if that's one of the ones I put in the ground or if that's something that she's planted since then. My beans never did come up, but she has replanted some other beans, so you can see those are up here. And then I've still got the rest of this bed full of weeds to control. I'm going to pull all this stuff out. So what I'm doing today is cleaning out all of this, see what I've actually got in there. And then I bought some purple hull crowder peas that I'm going to plant in whatever space is left because they're easy. And once I get this initial run of weeds out, if I can get some plants to come in and actually grow, then they'll shade everything out and I won't have this weed problem. But this is gardening in Georgia, and it's really easier to let the weeds get a little bit taller than trying to pull them out when they're just babies, because you don't know what's going to come up and you don't want to mess up the roots of your plants, so you have to be careful. So that's my Saturday job. I'm cleaning this out. So I've got the garden cleaned out. What I have are some volunteer marigolds. I have some okra plants. I have no idea which okra those are. I have here, interestingly enough, what looks like a volunteer cucumber. Over here, I have a volunteer cilantro plant. Then the beans. There's the cantaloupes. I have a few stalks of corn. Of all that corn, just a little bit. Some more okra, the other cantaloupes. Then up here, I have some volunteer tomato plants, a couple of those. So that is what I've got in the garden after I've cleaned out all of the weeds. The marigolds actually will keep bugs away. So they're a good companion plant. And then what I'm going to do is plant this pack of crowder peas, purple hull crowder peas, which are easy to grow. They love Georgia soil. They love Georgia climate. They'll get big and tall, so they'll shade out the weeds. They should grow just fine next to the okra. The okra will get taller than they. And the thing with legumes like peas and beans is they actually add nitrogen back into your soil. So that'll make this a better place to grow something next year, although chances are this will just be a flower bed next year. But we'll see what happens. That's the replanting effort from the what was supposed to be a corn patch, but is now going to be a pea patch more than anything else. So I said I have volunteers. I got volunteer tomatoes, got volunteer cucumber, volunteer cilantro, and you get those when things fall on the ground, seeds hit the ground, get covered up and stay there, and then germinate all by themselves. Now, there's two schools of thought when it comes to volunteers. One is they should be pulled up immediately because they might bring disease and cause problems and cross-pollination issues with your other plants. And I respect that opinion, and I think if I was trying to grow heirloom something, I wouldn't want a volunteer in there because, again, you could cross-pollinate and cause problems. But I am of the other opinion that since I'm growing this patch to provide food for myself and my family, that if God just by His grace wants to give me some plants that are going to produce food, I'm going to accept them. I'm going to nurture them as best I can, and I'm going to give thanks for them at the end of the day because in my experience, interesting enough, the volunteer tomatoes that I get usually come from like a big slicing tomato, because that's usually what I plant. But the volunteers are always little cherry tomatoes, little like grape tomatoes. And I think that's what, if you take a tomato and you take all of that crossbreeding out of it and you take it back to its basic self, tomatoes are kind of small. But I love those little tomatoes. They make great tomato sauce. They make great salsa. They're great on salads. They're great just to pop in your mouth and eat. I love tomatoes. So, and certainly with a cucumber, I'm fascinated to see what that is. It could be a squash, but it looks like a cucumber to me. And I have grown cucumbers out here before. I didn't last year. So this is a seed that came from 2 years ago. Fascinating, huh? The cilantro, it's a weed anyway. But boy, the cilantro and the tomatoes, that's salsa. Anyway, I'm gonna rest here in the shade for a minute, finish another beverage, and then I will get those crowder peas in the ground, water this out real good, and call it replanted. Usually not the best idea to water in the heat of the day, but I've really disturbed everything that's out here. It's hot and dry today, so I want to make sure everything has plenty of moisture and those new seeds get sprayed in. as far as updates go, while I have you here and I'm just watering, it was a great week. Actually, my seniors in high school, this was their last week for school. They're all out. We got one more week of school for everybody else. Elementary school kids are out of their minds. High school kids, I expect to see most of them on Monday. After that, I expect it to be pretty light. Most of them will be finding excuses to not go to school. So it'll be the last week of school, and then it'll be summer, and I will be working with my son-in-law. Financially, we are solid. We haven't gone hungry yet. We're not homeless. And while I would like to have all my clothes off, I would just get sunburned over all of my body. So I'll leave them on for your benefit and mine. And other than that, life is good. I keep reminding everyone to embrace the joy of the moment and not live in anxiety about the what if, that terrible what if that might happen somewhere down the road. Jesus over and over tells us to not be anxious, to not worry. Not that we have to live with blinders on, but we have to live by faith, trusting that the one who said he would take care of us and meet our needs if we would trust him will do just that. So I'm living that way. We're living that way. And I can assure you that I have nothing today that I need that I don't have. And I have a lot of things that I just like and want that I don't need. And that is a blessed life. Talk to you later. Well, greetings, fellow travelers, and welcome again to another exciting adventure with the Eclectic Monk. I sure hope you're enjoying these videos, and I hope that you'll take the moment to like them, to subscribe to the channel, to share these on social media and share it with your friends just by word of mouth. And what would really help me out is if you'd leave me a comment. Also, if you'd like to know more about what I'm doing, enjoy my podcast, check on my online store, different things, check out theeclecticmonk.com. And there you'll find all kind of other content and connections to other things that I've been doing for, I don't know, years. Anyway, I really do appreciate your support, and I hope that you'll continue to travel well with me. Till next time, God bless.